Hello all, welcome to the new Simply Put series by Kalamais Academy. This is Priyanka Mahapatra, faculty at Kalamais. So today we'll be having a discussion on the newspaper dated 15th December 2023. So the text and the context section of the Hindu newspaper had unimportant articles today, so we won't be discussing them. Then the explain section of the Indian Express newspaper had two important articles today, that is about the asymmetric federalism and about the article 370 verdict, how it has impacted the world, how the world sees this verdict. Okay, so these are the two articles we are going to discuss today, which are displayed on your screen. So the first article is about beyond Jammu Kashmir, why many states in India enjoy special provisions. So this is in context with the Article 370 and its abrogation that happened in the year 2019. And this week, Supreme Court has upheld the abrogation of Article 370. So 370 was about the special status given to Jammu Kashmir, right? So it had an separate constitution to it. So it was a very autonomous state, more than any other state in India. But other than Jammu Kashmir, we are still having many states in India which are still enjoying certain special provisions on different grounds. So understand here that not all states are equal states either. Okay, some states are given more power, some states are given less power. Okay, some states are categorized as special category status, some are not. So what are the basis for that? Okay, what kind of arrangement we are having in India which is allowing such an uh, arrangement to be prevailing all the time? Is the constitution allowing it, or by the legislation we are bringing that? So what is actually the constitutional or the governance structure in India which is allowing to give certain autonomous powers, but at the same time the parliament is having the unitary setup where the power to legislate is concentrated in the center at the same time, right? So constitutionally the governance structure is quasi-federal. That means states are given certain autonomy, but at the same time the constitution is tilting towards the center on major areas. For example, in concurrent list, the union law would prevail in the case of conflict between the law made by the parliament and state legislature. If any conflict is happening between the parliament and the state legislature laws, then the union law would always prevail, right? So thus we are having a quasi-federal structure, right? And that is how we are enjoying a asymmetric federalism, where the units that form the federation, they are having varying degrees of autonomy and powers to conduct their affairs. But at the same time, we are having a unitary setup where the power to legislate is concentrated in the center. This has been proved by various provisions which you already read in your polity subject. So after going through all the constitutional provisions granting special status to different states, it might appear an unjust and very contrary to the principle of equality, which has been adopted by our constitution. So questions might pop up in your mind that it has been well written in our constitution that every individual or group or state has been provided with similar kind of opportunity, same kind of opportunity. So why provide the special status? What is the reason of providing special status? So careful reading of the constitution shall reveal that there is also a provision for providing special benefits or reservations to the group of people who are backward or suffer from certain serious issues. For example, this northeastern states. These states are affected or marred with various cultural diversities, economic diversities, political diversities. They face certain problems which require special attention. So therefore, the special statuses are provided so as to deal those problems with a little extra care, right? For that reason, we have given the special provisions to certain states because of the India's plurality with respect to the diversities it is having. right? So the constitution has provided differentiated equality for the states depending on various factors like cultural factors, political factors, administrative factors, for the purpose of equitable development funds, for the equitable allocation of development funds, like in case of Maharashtra and Gujarat, to preserve the tribal culture, like in case of Nagaland, Mizoram, or Sikkim for that matter. So these are the major reasons under which different states have been given different kind of autonomy, right? So then there are some criticism as well. By giving the special status, we are certainly sowing the seeds of regionalism and separatism that is impacting the national integration. This is also very important to know from your mains point of view, right? So every issue has got some positive effect and some negative effect. So you should be knowing both the sides so that you can reach to a balance in the conclusion. Okay, so you should be giving the critical analysis of each and every issue asked in the question so that it showcases your analytical skills. So you should be always knowing both sides of the issue, both sides of the story. So here, right, giving special provisions to the different states is based on various political administrative factors. Yes, we agree that they are for the betterment of the states, but it has got some downside to it, like it can also accentuate the regionalism feeling, the separatism feeling, which can directly impact the national integration of our country, the unity and the integrity of our country, right? So different states are enjoying different kind of autonomy under the article 371A to I, which I just discussed. All the exceptions are under a section of the Constitution titled Temporary, Transitional and Special Provisions. Right? And you must always know that these provisions were meant to be temporary always. These provisions were to be there till the crisis situation was there. There were so many movements, secessionist activities going on in northeastern states. Right? Or warlike conditions were there in Jammu Kashmir, when the instrument of accession was signed between Hari Singh and Jawaharlal Nehru. So certain crisis situation was there under which these provisions were extended to such states. Therefore, these provisions were meant to be temporary. After the crisis situation gets over, it was meant to be stopped. It was meant to be seized. But that did not happen. Despite the temporary tag, none of the special provisions contain an explicit expiry date to it. That is why the states are still enjoying the special provisions, special autonomy. So we'll be seeing one by one. So this article 370 and 371, which provides special provisions to most of the Indian states, they were part of the constitution since its commencement time, that is January 26, 1950. So this becomes very important from your prelims point of view, where it can be asked to you in the option that whether Article 370, whether Article 371 were there from the beginning of the constitution, from the commencement of the constitution, or they were incorporated after the commencement of the constitution. In some year, randomly they can give any year, 1987, 1972, any year they can give. Okay, so you should be clear that these two articles, they were there since the commencement of the constitution. But the rest of the articles, that is 371A to 371J, they were incorporated subsequently. Okay, according to the individual circumstances of the different states. Right? So most of the states that have been accorded special provisions under Article 371, that is 371A to 371J, they are mostly the northeastern states. So here what was the aim? The aim was to preserve the tribal culture. So you should be knowing that also, that to aim, the aim here is to preserve the tribal culture, and that is why they were given certain special provisions. But sometimes there need not be any special thing for which a state can be given a special status. For example, Goa. 371I article 371I, it accords some special status to Goa, which does not include any provision that can be termed special, right? But in the case of J&K, it was very much special. It was having a separate constitution for itself. In the way, it was a feature of asymmetric federalism. It was given an example of asymmetric federalism. But it was not having any kind of internal sovereignty. What happened that the petitioners, while challenging the abrogation of Article 370, they argued that being J&K being under Article 370, where it is having a separate autonomy to it, a separate constitution to it, it is having some kind of internal sovereignty. But the judges said, no, it is not having any internal sovereignty because J&K is a part of Article 1. J&K has been a part of Article 1, which says that India is the union of states. And J&K is very much a part of Article 1 under Part 3. It's a Part 3 state. Right? So it is not having any kind of external sovereignty or internal sovereignty either. Again, coming to Article 371, it dealt with the states of Maharashtra and Gujarat, where the governor has special responsibility to establish separate development boards. So it is a purpose of equitable development here. For the areas like Vidarbha, Marathwada and the rest of Maharashtra, Saurashtra and Kutch region in Gujarat, where it was to ensure that the allocation of funds are done equitably for the development expenditure. So majorly the aim has been towards the equitable development of all the areas, all the sections of the states, right? So similar is the case with Nagaland and Mizoram. So here the northeastern states like Nagaland and Mizoram, here they are given special provisions under Article 371A and 371G, where it is only aimed to preserve their tribal culture. So in case of Nagaland, the Article 371A came into picture. It was inserted after a 16-point agreement being made between the center and the Naga People's Convention in 1960, which led to the creation of the Nagaland state in 1963. Right? And what was given in that, they were able to enjoy a negotiated autonomy, which was basically a political compromise between India and the Naga and the Mizoram independence movements. Right? In this case, Parliament had no power to make any law that interfered with the religious and social practices of Nagas and Mizos. Along with that, it will also preserve their ownership and transfer of land and natural resources to any outsiders. It won't allow that. Right? So in tribal areas, it's a basic law to protect their tribal culture in the form of not interfering with their religious and social practices, right? And their ownership and transfer of the land has to be, that power has to remain with the tribals only. Nobody else can take because they are the owners of the land since ancient times. So here concessions are made. You can understand now that there is no political motive behind this, right? So they are made concessions for the reasons other than political motives, that is preserving tribal culture, right? In the case of Sikkim also, we have Article 371F that was inserted under 36th Amendment Act 1975, where there is a power given to the members of the Legislative Assembly of the Sikkim who will elect their representative to the Lok Sabha. So here the members of the Legislative Assembly are only electing their representative to the Lok Sabha, not the people of Sikkim. Similarly, in case of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, the whole aim is to provide equitable development that we saw in Maharashtra and Gujarat also. Here it was given the Article 371D under the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act 2014, where the president would ensure that the opportunities and facilities with respect to the employment, education to the public has to be done very equitably. Like like the people from the different parts of the state, they must not complain that there is some biasness or there is some unequal opportunities given to some parts of the state. So the president would ensure that they are given equitable opportunities in respect with respect to the job facilities and education for the public, right? And in Delhi's case also, it has been given some special provisions under Article 239 AA, right? So it is not a state, it is a union territory, but it has been given some special provisions, right? So special provisions as in it has a power to legislate upon subjects of state and the concurrent list in the 7th schedule, right? So likewise, many provisions are there which are ensuring some kind of autonomy to the states. Thereby, it is our asymmetric federalism that we are seeing today in case of India. So this was the end of this discussion. So let's now come to the second article of the day, that is how the world reacted to the Supreme Court verdict about Article 370 abrogation and Jammu and Kashmir. So this week we got the Supreme Court's seal of approval to the constitutional changes in Jammu and Kashmir, and hence it has evoked no major international reactions. So the endorsement from the Supreme Court has given a push to the New Delhi's global diplomatic strategy to communicate to the whole world that Kashmir is ours. Kashmir is India's, right? And again, India's position being that J&K matter is always an internal issue, it has been accepted by the international community, because India has been always asserting that we never commented on the internal affairs of other countries. So similarly, we also expect other countries to do so. We also expect that other countries do not interfere in our internal matters. However, there has been flagging of certain issues by certain countries like Pakistan, China, and the OIC, Organization of Islamic Countries, where they have flagged the issue of human rights violation of the people of J&K after 2019. Right? So they want to ensure the human rights of the people of J&K to be preserved, which includes the right to free and fair elections. And they also want that any kind of escalation of tensions between the two neighboring countries, India and Pakistan, should be avoided. Therefore, Supreme Court has already asked the government to hold elections by September 2024, thereby restoring the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir. Right? So next year, Pakistan is also holding its national elections just ahead of India's own elections. So then the engagement is expected to happen between both the countries after the elections. So we are hoping for an optimistic turn, right? So this was all about today's discussion. Thank you so much. So before ending this discussion, the short notes of this discussion is been provided in our Telegram channel, that is Kalamais Academy. You can join there, and the link for joining our Telegram channel is been provided in the description box. So all the short notes of all the new Simply Put videos have been provided there, right? So thank you so much and happy learning.